Welcome to the channel. Today's topic is the arrival of Islam in India and its effect on Hindu people. It has marked one of the most profound influences in the subcontinent's history, shaping its cultural, social, and political fabric over centuries. This journey began not through conquest but through peaceful means, as Arab traders reached the Malabar coast long before any Islamic rulers entered India. In the early 7th century, merchants from the Arabian Peninsula arrived in southern India, engaging in vibrant trade along the coastlines. These initial interactions introduced the teachings of Islam, and over time, the spread of Islamic beliefs gained a foothold, particularly among local communities who were drawn to the egalitarian and monotheistic principles of the faith. Sufi saints played a pivotal role in the spread of Islam throughout India. Known for their spiritual simplicity and devotion, Sufi saints carried Islam beyond urban centers, moving into rural areas and villages, which were predominantly Hindu. They introduced a way of life focused on inner devotion, simplicity, and a personal relationship with God. The teachings of Sufism resonated deeply with the local people and attracted followers from diverse backgrounds, including Hindus, who found common ground in the universal message of love and devotion. The saints' emphasis on tolerance and love made the new religion accessible and appealing, creating a unique interfaith atmosphere where religious identity often intertwined with social and personal affiliations. As Islam took root in India, the 12th century saw the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate, a period in which Islam's influence expanded significantly across northern India. This era marked the rise of Muslim dynasties that governed with a distinct system, introducing administrative structures that centralized authority. Despite being rulers of a predominantly Hindu society, Muslim sultans often practiced religious tolerance, allowing Hindu communities to retain their customs and practices. The Sultanate created an environment where both Hindus and Muslims contributed to the flourishing cultural landscape of India, blending art, architecture, and literature. The synthesis of Persian art forms with Indian aesthetics resulted in a unique cultural expression, as seen in architecture, where mosques and palaces combined Islamic calligraphy with local craftsmanship. The Delhi Sultanate left an indelible mark, blending diverse artistic, cultural, and intellectual traditions that would resonate in the centuries to come. The establishment of the Mughal Empire in the 16th century under Emperor Babur marked a new chapter in the history of Islam in India. Babur's descendants, particularly Akbar, furthered the spirit of religious tolerance. Akbar implemented policies that embraced cultural diversity, sought harmony among his subjects, and promoted interfaith dialogue. He abolished the jizya tax on non-Muslims, invited scholars of different faiths to discuss religious philosophies, and even encouraged the study of Hindu texts. Akbar's court became a meeting point of various religious and philosophical ideas, where Hindus and Muslims served side by side in positions of influence. His policy of sulh-e-kul, or universal tolerance, fostered an atmosphere in which mutual respect and understanding grew between the Hindu and Muslim communities. Akbar's vision of unity led to significant cultural fusion, creating an Indo-Islamic synthesis that manifested in art, language, cuisine, and architecture. However, the relationship between Hindu and Muslim communities was not without conflict. While there were periods of peaceful coexistence, instances of tension and discord emerged at times, often exacerbated by political ambitions or personal rivalries. Yet, these conflicts did not entirely overshadow the syncretic culture that had emerged over centuries. The fusion of ideas led to a cultural legacy that embraced both Hindu and Muslim traditions. This blending of cultures reached its peak in the Mughal court, where Hindu and Persian musical traditions interwove, contributing to the development of Hindustani classical music, a genre that remains beloved across religious lines to this day. Furthermore, the Persian language blended with local dialects to form Urdu, a language that bridges communities and carries the shared history of both Hindu and Muslim traditions. As British colonial rule began to establish itself in the 18th century, the delicate balance between Hindu and Muslim communities faced new challenges. The British administration employed a divide-and-rule strategy, exploiting religious differences to maintain control over the diverse population. The colonial administration institutionalized divisions, often privileging one community over the other based on political calculations, which sowed seeds of mistrust between Hindus and Muslims. The policies implemented by the British intensified communal tensions, transforming religious identities into more rigid and adversarial positions. The politicization of religion created fractures that were difficult to mend, with the impact still resonating in modern India. Partition in 1947 marked a tragic chapter in the history of Hindu-Muslim relations in the subcontinent. The division of British India into the separate nations of India and Pakistan was accompanied by one of the largest migrations in history, with millions of Hindus and Muslims relocating based on religious identity. This period was marred by intense violence and suffering, as families were uprooted, lives were lost, and communities that had coexisted for centuries were torn apart. The trauma of partition left scars on the collective consciousness of both nations, influencing Hindu-Muslim relations in independent India. While the majority of Muslims chose to stay in India, committed to its pluralistic society, the memories of partition continue to shape interfaith dynamics to this day. In post-independence India, Hindu-Muslim relations have evolved amidst ongoing efforts for peace, unity, and coexistence. India's secular constitution guarantees freedom of religion, and the contributions of Muslims to Indian society remain visible across various sectors, including politics, education, arts, and sports. Indian Muslims are integrated into the country's vibrant democracy, often standing as symbols of the secular and inclusive ethos of the nation. However, instances of communal violence and socio-political movements have sometimes strained interfaith relations. The rise of identity politics has contributed to the occasional resurgence of communal tensions, but civil society groups, activists, and religious leaders from both communities continue to work toward building bridges and fostering understanding. Today, Hindu-Muslim relations in India are shaped by shared traditions and ongoing interfaith interactions. Despite challenges, both communities contribute to the cultural mosaic that defines modern India. Indian music, film, literature, and culinary traditions all bear the imprints of centuries of Hindu-Muslim cultural fusion. Movements that promote interfaith dialogue have gained prominence, seeking to rekindle the spirit of tolerance and unity exemplified by figures like Akbar and the Sufi saints. These initiatives aim to educate the younger generations about the shared heritage that binds the two communities, emphasizing that the bonds of kinship, friendship, and shared history are stronger than the forces that seek to divide. The effects of Islam on Hindu society have also extended into the social and cultural domains. For instance, the influence of Islamic architecture has shaped temple architecture and other structures, as Hindu builders adopted elements like domes and arches into their designs. In turn, Muslim artisans borrowed local motifs, creating a unique Indo-Islamic architectural style that graces cities like Delhi, Jaipur, and Hyderabad. The interaction between Islam and Hinduism has enriched the linguistic landscape as well, with many Hindi and Urdu words crossing into each other's vernacular, facilitating communication and mutual respect. Additionally, shared festivals and practices have emerged in certain regions, where Hindu and Muslim communities participate in each other's celebrations, reflecting a spirit of communal harmony. The journey of Hindu-Muslim relations in India illustrates the resilience of interfaith connections and the potential for unity and diversity. While political developments and historical events have occasionally strained these relations, the underlying cultural and spiritual ties that bind these communities continue to shape the subcontinent. Indian society today bears the marks of a complex, layered history where religious identities coexist with a shared sense of nationhood and cultural pride. The legacy of Sufi saints, the vision of leaders like Akbar, and the contributions of countless artists, scholars, and ordinary people serve as reminders of the harmonious potential of Hindu-Muslim relations. In summary, the rise of Islam in India has left an indelible mark on the country's social, cultural, and political landscape. From the early days of Arab traders and Sufi saints to the establishment of powerful dynasties like the Mughals, the influence of Islam has blended with indigenous traditions, creating a rich tapestry of shared experiences. This history is a testament to the resilience of India's pluralistic society, where differences have been embraced and interwoven to form a unique cultural identity. Today, Hindu-Muslim relations continue to evolve, marked by efforts to preserve and celebrate a shared heritage amidst the challenges posed by modern identity politics. The cultural exchanges that have defined this relationship demonstrate that unity in diversity is not only possible but deeply embedded in the history and heart of India. Thanks for watching the video.